Good day, friends. I hope you're doing really well. This is Tracy Brown, and my team and I provide trauma-informed nutrition counseling so that you can feel safer in your own skin. And I wanted to finish up this little series I did today not today, but this week, on different kinds of eating. So if you're interested in a deeper dive, definitely you can look at the original book, Intuitive Eating, and they have different descriptions of more nuance than what I'm going to talk about maybe in this video. I'll put a link below to a little summary we have about that as well. So please check it out if you want to. In the last video this week, we talked about deprivation-driven eating, which actually is the most common type of eating that we deal with when people feel distress about their eating. So today, though, we're going to talk about emotional eating. And it's so curious. I think it's totally the marketing, right? And it's totally the programming that if you're eating in a way that makes you distressed, it has to be emotional. But we kind of debunked that in the last video. But I do want to talk about some of the pretty telltale signs that it's pretty true emotional eating without like caloric deprivation or maybe even a lot of mental deprivation of what you can and can't eat. Again, I know everyone's circumstance is different. I'm not trying to make rules and have anybody feel like if I'm not describing something, your experience doesn't exist. I'm just doing the best I can in a short video to give just some things to think about and notice what happens in your body and your system if that feels resonates for you, or maybe it once did and it doesn't as much anymore, but something shifted, and that's just a great validation for you. So that's great too. All right, so again, I'm not talking about emotional eating as a bad thing in this. This is just more about, it's a strategy, and all humans who feel like they're pretty don't have much distress, if any at all, about their food or their weight, still emotionally eat sometimes. So it's part of the human experience. But what we're talking about is it seems like more often than not, or more often than you really want, that eating is less and less and less about, body-led experiences and more about trying to change one's state, out of fight, flight, freeze, or please. Okay? All right, so we're going to do some definitions here. The drive to eat originates, I got some notes, okay? Can originate in thoughts and feelings, or even I'm going to say body sense states that maybe you're not feeling very skilled at identifying, accepting, expressing, care about, can tolerate, or don't know how to resolve. Okay? We feel compelled to seek food to distract, to cover up, to numb out, to push down, to change those thoughts, feelings, nervous system state, sensations, whatever it is. Since food and eating does not keep thoughts and feelings away, obviously, for very long, or definitely resolves them, or resolves that distress or the conflict, we'll continue to eat, right? And food is temporarily soothing. And in those moments, it's hard to see that we have options, choices, or alternatives. And that's kind of a hallmark of the experience. And so if anybody's watching live, or you've had that experience, you're watching the replay here, that you've had that experience, I'd love to hear below that sounds or feels familiar. Okay? Characteristics sometimes of that kind, not the kind of emotional eating that all humans do, and it's done in a lot of attunement and awareness and not judgment. We're talking about the emotional eating where we just don't feel like we have the ability to respond to our internal cues or little interest in doing so. Even when you're full, or like feeling like kind of, I'm kind of done with this, it's hard. It's feeling like you can't stop. They feel compelled. Comfort and soothe with the eating, even if it, whether it's something you like or you don't like, it's just the process of it that feels soothing. Oftentimes afterwards, there's gonna be for some people, angry, shame, guilt afterwards. Like there's this automatic pendulum swing to the other kinds of emotions that maybe weren't there before. Eating in general to numb, express something, distract, push down. I always think it feels like it kind of pushes things to the side. It's there on the left or the right, or above or below, but it's kind of not in full view, right? And just difficulty in general, knowing your words and expressing your needs, your feelings, the felt sense experience you're having. Things kind of feel jumbled inside or feel kind of fuzzy or diffuse, or like you reach and there's nothing there for what you're going through. Okay. And again, how do we start people off with this? You know, people often ask me, okay, great, what do I do? And so I'm going to give you some, again, this is not like, okay, jump off and go do all this now. It's like most of these things we do in pieces and parts and stages, and we can only go as fast as the slowest parts can go. So most of the time when people do something new, just like I talked in the last video, we want to do it from the mindset that we've had for, you know, how many decades. Like, I gotta have a plan and a program and get this over with. It doesn't work that way. You can't bypass. It's like we do all these things to build these new neural pathways, and you do it at the pace you can handle, and then it sticks, right? So some of the things that we help see people do that helpful are to like start to be a beautiful, compassionate witness to your hunger, fullness, and satiety. Explore feeling states that prompt the eating. So get good at being a witness and an anthropologist to your experience. Consider some structure to learn emotionally prompted eating. So that just means, again, the hunger, fullness work or slowing down more. Of course, counseling. We want people to have the support they need. That's so important to be able to, as you start to differentiate signals of hunger and fullness from your body's signals and symptoms of like fight, flight, freeze, or please, happy, mad, sad, or afraid. We need to do skill building. It's really important. Transform the emotional eating. That's actually an option, y'all. It's if we've been, do so with full awareness. Do it in full view of yourself. Don't like hide it from yourself and hide. Try to be fully aware if that's what you're doing, and be compassionate about it. Over time, that will help you develop ways of being compassionate, seeing other options. What I see for people is that they're binging and they learn to like really witness it, is that it slows it down. They become more curious. Sometimes by default, they end up eating a little differently or less, or it's slower. They're more aware of just the felt sense of it in their bodies as well. We really do a lot of work with people around exploring the parallel process, right? So it's like we're decoding when we say I feel fat or I gotta eat. It really means I feel uncomfortable. And what do we have overcoupled with our uncomfortable experiences, or what happens for you? What does it mean to be happy, mad, sad, or afraid, or in fight, flight, freeze, or please? What is your experience of like what was too much or missing to be able to negotiate that in a different way that's overcoupled with the food? So that work is very important. And of course, you know, in general, we want to be promoting self-acceptance and body acceptance, and just generally pleasurable, supportive eating. Those are just all parts. These are all just pieces of what helps us over time not feel like eating is our only option. And eating is meant to be supportive and pleasurable and good and connecting. And all people eat. If you talk to people who've never had a history of food or body image issues, people emotionally eat sometimes because it's there, because it's good. There's celebration. That is not a problem. What the problem is that we don't have a lot of experiences of what to do with our too much or not enough in our systems. And maybe food at those very vulnerable times was all that was there for us, and we don't have other neurobiology know what to do about it. And then it feels like if I just had more willpower, and if I could just eat healthier, I could fix it. Or if I could just do this, it's like, you know, stop trying to program yourself. You know, it's like, what happened to you that this feels so hard? And be a witness to the reasons and to the story. And I think that will help take some of the activation even off of the emotional eating. So thank you so much for watching the video. I hope you loved this one. The one I did earlier this week. They go together. I think we need both parts of this to make sure we don't swing to either side of emotional undereating or emotional overeating. And to not go into the deprivation place of trying to like get rid of emotional eating with some kind of restricted way of being with ourselves. It doesn't work. I know we've all done it before, and you can't keep going to the hardware store for milk. Let's try something different. So thanks for watching. If this was valuable to you, please, share it with people who might really need it. So thank you so much, and I will see you in the next video series. Bye for now.